did you know that right now Congress is trying to fuse our military with the Israeli military? They're like doing it low key in the shadows. They don't want you to know about it, which is why I haven't seen hardly anybody talking about it. In fact, this story broke last week, but I didn't hear anything about it until I was reading a separate story on Al Jazeera and I saw the link below it. So I'm actually going to read to you here from Responsible Statescraft, which has also covered it. Congress quietly moves to integrate the U.S. and Israeli militaries in the first step toward shifting aid further into the shadows. The House's 2027 NDAA, that's the National Defense Authorization Act, would all but fuse those two countries' armed forces together. At a time when the American public is expressing unprecedented levels of distrust in the Israeli government, Congress just proposed tying the U.S. to the Israeli military more than ever before. So this got released on Tuesday of last week, the National Defense Authorization Act, which is going to expire. And so they had to roll out a new one. But tucked in there in section 224, there is this passage entitled United States-Israel Defense Technology Cooperation Initiative. Now, it's important to acknowledge that our taxpayer dollars have already been used to an extreme amount to fund Israel's military. According to Responsible Statecraft, more than $200 billion of taxpayer money has gone toward just military assistance to Israel. Al Jazeera says that number is closer to $300 billion. But this provision 224 does way more than that. We will continue to fund Israel's military with just gobs and gobs of American taxpayer money. But it also will link our surveillance to their surveillance, our AI development to their AI development, our military weapons development to theirs. Our national security will be intertwined with Israel's national security. And that is a liability for all of us. I don't know about you. I just said on live, I don't know about you, but as a sovereign nation, it is not a good idea for us to have our national security inextricably intertwined with Bibi Netanyahu's authoritarian government. Let me read this passage here. The U.S. and Israel already work together heavily on missile defense, but this new provision would greatly expand coordination to seemingly every area of defense tech, including AI, quantum, autonomous systems, directed energy, cyber, biotech, and many more. It also proposes this network integration and data fusion. Does that mean all of our private data is going to go to Bibi Netanyahu? What does that mean, data fusion? It's really kind of nebulous. If this passes, it will provide a higher level of military-industrial integration than the U.S. has with any other country in the world. According to this reporting, it would bring extraordinary Israeli influence to the U.S. beyond what it already has through the massive Israel lobby here. Remember, AIPAC spent more than $222 million in Democratic primaries alone. And also a robust network of social media influencers funded by AIPAC and Israel. All that dark money that funds social media influencers on both sides of the ecosystem, a lot of that comes from Israel. If this integration passes, it would give the Israeli government, the government of strongman Bibi Netanyahu, unprecedented levels of influence in U.S. politics. This would be disastrous. We already have a president who is functionally a puppet of Bibi Netanyahu. I want to read just a little bit more from this article here, and then I want to talk about why I'm really concerned that this is a bipartisan problem. I'm really concerned that there will be a large number of Democrats who support this action when the American people overwhelmingly do not want it. The article continues, the shift to integrate our military with Israel's will strip away the political and diplomatic oversight mechanisms that make the relationship publicly accountable right now, moving it from a visible annual aid vote to an opaque machinery of defense acquisition, where oversight is limited and political accountability is minimal. The result will be a defense relationship that is simultaneously deeper and less transparent. This all comes at a time when the Israeli military has repeatedly used our U.S. weapons in strikes that have violated international humanitarian laws in Gaza and also in Lebanon. And as Israel has repeatedly violated ceasefires in the Trump administration's unnecessary war in Iran. our taxpayer dollars are going to fund Bibi Netanyahu's genocide against Palestinians, to fund war crimes in Iran and Lebanon. And there will be more of that. Like, do you not understand? If this passes, then we will now be beholden to what Israel wants to do in the Middle East, which is to destabilize it, which is to take over the Middle East. Bibi Netanyahu and the members of his cabinet, which I will get to in just a second, overwhelmingly want the same thing that strongmen always want. They want expansion, right? They want Lebensraum. They want, like Donald Trump wanting to take over Greenland and Canada and Cuba and Iran, right? This is what authoritarians do. They want to expand. They want to warmonger. They want to do genocides. Do you want your taxpayer dollars going to that? Because most Americans don't. There was a mid-May New York Times poll that says that 64% of Americans feel that what Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu are doing in Iran is wrong. And likewise, there was a global affairs poll that came out week before last that said that just 16% of Americans say the United States should keep supplying Israel with weapons without any new restrictions. 38% of Americans want to stop supplying Israel with weapons entirely, and 24% want weapons conditioned on how they're used. It is really important that you reach out to your members of Congress, to your senators right now, very vigorously on a daily basis, letting them know you don't want this shit passed. You don't want more funding for Israel. You don't want our military, our national security tied up with Israel's and then moved into the shadows where there's no oversight. Call your representative. Let them know you oppose them voting for the National Defense Authorization Act. Section 224 is incredibly concerning to you, and it needs to be stripped out. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter which party. It doesn't matter which party. In fact, we know that AIPAC fucks with both parties. We know that they fuck around with our elections and they influence our elected officials in both parties overwhelmingly. I am very concerned about this passing because we have Democrats who just yesterday, were marching with a war criminal being investigated by the International Criminal Court. Yesterday in New York City, Chuck Schumer, Governor Kathy Hochul, and other elected officials marched in a pro-Israel rally in New York City. Bezalel Smotrich, the finance minister for Israel, was also there.
Am Yisrael Chai. The people Israel live.
Last night I was informed that the criminal prosecutor of the anti-Semitic court in The Hague submitted a secret request for an international arrest warrant against me. This request joins the unprecedented arrest warrants issued against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. The clumsy attempt to force upon us a policy of security suicide through sanctions and arrest warrants will not succeed. On a personal level, they do not intimidate me. I am willing to pay personal prices in order to serve my people. If I am required to pay such a price, I do so proudly and with my head held high. But on the national level, they are not harming Benjamin Netanyahu or Bezalel Smotrich personally. They are trying to harm us as the Prime Minister and Finance Minister of the State of Israel. The issuance of arrest warrants against the Prime Minister is a declaration of war. The issuance of arrest warrants against the Defense Minister and Finance Minister is a declaration of war. And in the face of a declaration of war, we will respond with war. The Palestinian Authority has started a war, and it will get a war. From today onward, every economic or other target within my power to harm, under my authority as Finance Minister and as a Minister in the Defense Ministry, will be targeted. Not talk and gimmicks, actions. I hereby announce the first target that will be struck. Immediately after finishing my remarks here, I will sign an order to evacuate Khan al-Ahmar on my authority as a minister in the Defense Ministry. I promise all our enemies, this is only the beginning.
אתם סופית את הרעיון להקמת מדינה פלסטינית? מוישי, קודם כל, כשהיינו בצפון אמרתי לך שלא בטוח שיקבלו אותך. פה יקבלו אותך בטוח.
גם אני עכשיו יכול ב100,000 שקלים לקנות קרקע?
אני לא בטוח שאותך יקבלו, מוישי, אבל כן, כמעט כולם יכולים לקבל פה מגרש ב100,000 שקל. אנחנו קוברים את המדינה הפלסטינית בפועל. תראה, תצלם לכולם, שיראו את כל השטח הענק הזה, שבעצם מחבר את ירושלים ומעלה אדומים. חייבים למלא את ימיה של הממשלה, להמשיך לתקן את מערכת המשפט, לחזק את ההתיישבות, ועכשיו, סליחה שלקח לי זמן, אני עונה לשאלתך. צריך לנצל את חלון ההזדמנויות של ממשל אוהד בבית הלבן וממשלת ימין כאן, ואגב, אני חושב שגם תמיכה רחבה מקצה לקצה. את יודעת מה? אצל הרוב השפוי של החברה הישראלית להכיל את הריבונות הישראלית, ולהרוג דה פקטו את הרעיון הזה של חלוקת הארץ משיחת שטחים והקמת מדינת טרור בלב ליבה של ארץ ישראל. אני חושב שהגיע העת, ואמרתי את זה לראש ממשלה ואני אומר את זה גם כאן, להתנפל על עזה, לכבוש אותה כפי שהבטיח לנו הרמטכ"ל הנוכחי כשנכנס לתפקידו על דעת כן, ולא לפחד, כן, לכבוש את רצועת עזה, להקים בממשל צבאי, לקחת להם שטח, לממש את תוכניתו של הנשיא טראמפ, ולהוציא 1.5 מיליון, 2 מיליון עזתים מעזה. יש שיח מאוד מעמיק, וצריך אגב להשקיע בזה ולעבוד בזה, כדי לייצר אלטרנטיבות של מדינות אחרות. אין ברירה אלא לעשות את זה כאן ועכשיו.
בוא נדבר על היום שאחרי המלחמה בהיבט הנדל"ני. אתה כבר התבטאת לא פעם לגבי חידוש ההתיישבות היהודית ברצועת עזה. שאלה פשוטה, איפה מבחינתך צריך לקום היישוב הראשון ברצועה?
אני מודה שלזה לא ציפיתי, אני מוכן להתחיל מהתוחמת הצפונית, אבל סתם, תדעו לכם, זה לא מצחיק, יש תוכנית עסקית, תקשיבו לי טוב, יש תוכנית עסקית שנבנתה על ידי האנשים הכי מקצועיים שיש, שנמצאת על השולחן של הנשיא טראמפ, לאיך הדבר הזה הופך לבוננזה של נדל"ן, אני לא צוחק, מחזיר את עצמו. אגב, אני התחלתי משא ומתן עם האמריקאים, ואני אומר את זה לא בצחוק עכשיו, כי אני גם דורש, הרי אנחנו שילמנו המון כסף על המלחמה הזאת, אז אנחנו צריכים להתחלק, איך אנחנו עושים אחוזים על שיווקי הקרקע אחר כך בעזה, אבל עכשיו לא בצחוק. את שלב ההריסה, שהוא תמיד השלב הראשון בהתחדשות העירונית עשינו, עכשיו צריך לבנות, זה הרבה יותר זול.
בוא נדבר על היום שאחרי.
AIPAC has infested our politics on both sides. Dark money, thanks to Citizens United, runs our government. And a big part of that dark money is Israel. Why? Because they get $300 billion worth of our taxpayer dollars to fund their war machine, to fund free healthcare, to fund their genocide. They have a heavy-handed influence in our politics and also our social media influencers. It's really concerning to me how many Democrats say that they are our allies in the resistance against fascism, but then they are run by foreign money. A strongman dictator who is like this with Donald Trump, who runs Donald Trump. Donald Trump is always kissing ass with Bibi Netanyahu and Vladimir Putin. Why on earth would we think that any Democrat that is funded by Bibi Netanyahu, is funded by the Israel lobby, would actually be our ally in the fight against Donald Trump and fascism? They are funded by Donald Trump's buddy. They are funded by the same guy funding Donald Trump.
Let's talk about AIPAC.
Today, AIPAC.
On Capitol Hill, AIPAC.
AIPAC.
You may have heard our name, but how much do you really know about AIPAC? AIPAC is an American organization that works to strengthen the U.S.-Israel relationship. This partnership advances America's interests and democratic values and helps keep Israel safe. Our 5 million members are U.S. citizens, Democrats and Republicans from every part of the country who urge our elected leaders to enact pro-Israel policies. This includes expanding America's defense partnership with Israel, supporting life-saving security assistance, confronting Iran and its terror proxies, and promoting peace and normalization. Being pro-Israel is good policy, and AIPAC members make sure it's good politics too. We raise money to help elect pro-Israel candidates for Congress from both parties. And we take the political fight to our opponents. helping defeat anti-Israel candidates running for the House or Senate. AIPAC is leading the fight in Washington to secure the future of the U.S.-Israel relationship. The actions of pro-Israel Americans today will help determine the future of this bond and the fate of both countries.
I mean, simultaneously, AIPAC runs the We Are America First party. No, you're fucking not. You're the Israel lobby. And then also, while using all of this messaging that's very MAGA and Donald Trump aligned, America First, they're also spending huge amounts of money running Democratic elected officials.
Well, I appreciate the relationship that I've had with AIPAC from the very beginning of my congressional journey.
The pro-Israel community fully embraced me.
AIPAC played a very important role in my political campaign. I think it really helped it take off.
Thank you to everyone and AIPAC for their deep and long-standing friendship. It means a lot to me.
This is why we need dark money and foreign money out of our politics. This is why we need a Democratic Party that is not beholden to AIPAC, that's not beholden to foreign governments. We need elected officials who represent us, the American people, and not billionaires, not dark money, not governments that are waging genocides in the Middle East. I'm telling y'all, if we want something different, then it's up to us to get it. If we want different elected officials, it's up to us to run for office. It's up to us to vote in primaries. It's up to us to get involved, to push AIPAC out, to push dark money out, to push out folks who care more about making sure that Israel is happy than defending democracy, who care more about making sure that Israel's war machine is funded than making sure that America is working for their constituents. These are people who don't work for us. They work for Israel. And they're going to vote. They're going to vote for this unless you put overwhelming public pressure on them. So now is the time. Call, get all your friends to call. We should be calling every fucking day, sending letters, showing up at their offices. This will be a real bad scene if it passes. So let's make sure that we stop it.